American English spelling versus British English spelling. Favorite, behavior, color, practice, analyze, maneuver. 4 English adjectives you can use to describe food. We say mushy or mushy for this one. A food is mushy when it's very soft and thick like oatmeal or applesauce. Stale, when a food is old and gross, we call it stale. Chewy, when a food takes forever to chew and eat, it's called chewy. And the last one, when a food like a meat is delicious and easy to cut and bite into, we call it tender. Here are some phrases that you can use while speaking English that also mean I don't know. Beats me. I have no clue. Don't ask me. I have no idea. That's a good question. Or you can just make the sound, When you argue about the small details of something, an idiom that we use is splitting hairs. Let's say that you're arguing with your husband or your wife about whether you ate spaghetti on Monday night or Tuesday night. Really? Does it matter, or are we just splitting hairs here? When we split hairs, it usually is just unnecessary to say who is correct in the argument. American English speakers use these shortened versions of English words all of the time. Instead of vegetables, we say veggies. Instead of legitimate, we say legit, which is also slang. Instead of laboratory, we say lab. Instead of medications, we say meds. Let's learn about the English phrasal verb to pull off, or to pull something off. When you pull off something, you succeed at something that you thought was going to be very difficult or nearly impossible. Did you see Joe Biden pulled off the presidential election? I didn't think I would make it in time to vote, but I pulled it off. There are 2 different ways to pronounce these English words correctly. Economics, economics, data, data, apricot, apricot, caramel, caramel, aunt, ant, either, either, neither, neither, root, root. Talk about the phrasal verb bring awareness to. When you really care about something and you want others to also care about it and help with the cause, you want to bring awareness to it. When you bring awareness to something, you make people aware, or you make them have knowledge about that thing. Let's say that you really care about animals and you want people to know about situations where animals are being mistreated. You want to bring awareness to animal mistreatment. What causes do you want to bring awareness to? There is nothing like getting a brand new pair of shoes. The advanced English adjective that I'm going to teach you about today is brand new. We say something is brand new if it has never been worn or never been used before. For instance, I bought a new car. The car was new to me, but someone had owned the car previously, so it was not brand new. But when it comes to shoes, no matter the brand or company, I like to buy brand new shoes, meaning nobody has worn them before, because when they're brand new, they feel so good on my feet for the first time. What is something that you have bought recently that was brand new? You might be thinking that Americans all just speak English, and while it's the most popular language here, you'll find most government documents and government signs in English. The United States actually has no official language, at the federal level at least. In Canada, there are 2 official languages, French and English. In Mexico, there's actually 4 other official languages other than Spanish. But in the United States, we like to think of ourselves as a melting pot of different cultures and languages. So tell me what you think. Should the United States have official language? Comment down below. When you disagree with someone, use one of these English phrases to politely tell them that you don't agree with their opinion. I respectfully disagree. I think differently. I beg to differ. Unfortunately, I have to disagree. It is important to share your opinions even if they're different from the person you're speaking to, but make sure to disagree in a polite and respectful manner so that you can tell the person your opinion and they will really listen to you. When you need to apologize for something bad or a mistake that you have made, use one of these English phrases instead of just saying, "I'm sorry." Here's a couple formal ones. My apologies, my sincerest apologies. Informally, we can say, my mistake or my bad. Or you can even use the slang my be for my bad. I'm going to teach you about a special kind of joke we use a lot in English. It's called a pun. A pun is a joke based on words with the same pronunciation but different meanings, otherwise known as homophones. It can also play with words that sound similar but are not exactly the same. Sometimes these are really funny and sometimes these are terrible jokes, like dad jokes. Want to hear a joke about pizza? Never mind, it's too cheesy. This is a pun because pizza has cheese, so it's cheesy. And the word cheesy can also mean something that has bad style or is not funny. Like my joke, it was not funny. Understanding puns is an advanced skill when learning a second language, and it can be a great way to learn some new homophones. Well, I hope you enjoyed my joke and thought it was punny. Follow me for more quick English tips. Let's talk about the English phrase wrap up. If you use textbook English, you might say, I have finished my work. If you use natural English, you can say, I wrapped up my work. When you wrap something up, you are finishing it. Wrap up means finish it. You can use this phrase as a command. Wrap it up. Also, if you say, I want to wrap this up today, it means that you want to finish it today. Follow me for more quick English tips. How old were you when you started learning English or another second language? Did you know that research shows us that learners of 2 languages score better on attention tests and have even better concentration than those that only speak 1 language? This same research that was published says that these benefits can extend to anyone of any age. That's right, learning English or another second language is not just for kids. So if you're following me and learning English as your second or even third or fourth language, keep up the great work. Let me get a piece of that. Let's practice a common English reduction that Americans make in their speech all of the time. Instead of saying let me, we say it quickly and say lemme. Let me have 1 soda, please. Can you let me speak? Or a common slang type phrase that we use instead of saying let me have is let me get. Like, let me get a soda, please. Or let me get one of those. Here's a phrasal verb that's great for your natural English vocabulary. Turned out. When something turns out, it appears differently than you thought it was before. So here's an example. I studied for my English test last night for 3 hours, and it turns out I didn't even have a test today. So I thought I had a test, but it turns out I didn't. If you know, you know. A newer common internet and texting abbreviation in English is IYKYK. This means if you know, you know. If you post a meme and it says IYKYK, then it means you think that the meme is funny and you don't need to explain it, but others that will understand it will also find it funny. If they know, they know. You can also post something that only has a small amount of people that will really understand what you're saying and put the caption as IYKYK. If you know, you know. This phrase and acronym is growing in popularity in the United States and especially with young people. So let me know what other English texting acronyms you are confused about in the comments. Did you know that 30% of English words come from the French language? Here are some examples that English speakers use every day that have come from French. Menu. A menu lists the food available at a restaurant. Petite. This means that something is smaller than usual. Boutique. A small shop or store that sells clothes. Brunette. Someone with brown hair. These words have obviously changed when entering the English language, but they all have a French origin. So, thanks for the language, France. Yup. Yeah. 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 Cool. Yuppers. Okay, all of these phrases are used informally in America to mean yes, except for that last one. We don't say yuppers. It's quite common to use these instead of yes in a text message as well. So if you ask someone a question here, they might say yeah, and that means yes. If you want to tell someone in English that something is not their fault or you're not going to hold them very accountable for it, you can use the idiom off the hook. Now think about a fish. If it's on the hook, it's caught, it's trapped. If someone makes a mistake and you're really mad at them, they're on the hook. But if you want to tell them it's not your fault, don't worry about it, just say you're off the hook or you're off the hook for this one. 3 sleep phrasal verbs that you can use in English. Sleep in, sleep on it, sleep through it. When you sleep in, you sleep very late. If you slept until noon, you could say, I slept in today. When you sleep on it, you wait until the morning to make a very important decision. I can't decide if I'm going to accept the job. I'm going to sleep on it. When you sleep through it, you wake up late when you had plans. I was going to meet up with Sheila for coffee, but I slept through it. These are 3 sleeping phrasal verbs. What others do you know? Talk about the English phrasal verb give up. When you give up, it can mean that you quit, like I give up. Or if you give up something, like an activity, it means you're going to quit doing it. You can also give it up if it's a thing, like getting rid of it. I'm going to give up all my old toys from when I was a child, meaning I'm going to get rid of them. You can also tell a person to give it up if you think they're being too serious or professional, but you know deep down inside they are a silly and funny person. You could say, give it up. That just means you want them to stop acting so serious. These are just some of the uses of this phrasal verb, give up. Follow me for more English lessons like this. Got a tongue twister for you today that plays with the 2 meanings of the English word weather. Here we go. Whether the weather is warm, whether the weather is hot, we have to put up with the weather, whether we like it or not. One more time. Whether the weather is warm, whether the weather is hot, we have to put up with the weather, whether we like it or not. Let me know if you tried out this tongue twister with me today and if you were successful or not so much. If you're working in a business or a store, you need to know this English question. The question is, what does that come to? Have you heard of this question before? When someone asks you the question, what does that come to? They are asking what the total of their purchase is. It's like saying, what does the amount due come to? If someone asks this question, they want to know the final price they owe or the cost of the bill. It's the same thing as asking, what is the total or how much do I owe you? When someone says, what does that come to? They need to know their final price. Duet me and practice this English conversation with me. I'll be the red, you be the blue. I love your hairstyle. Don't mention it. Hey, I really like your shoes today too. Where did you get them? Of course. I've got to start taking fashion tips from you. Great job. 5 different ways to say you're welcome in English when someone thanks you. Certainly. Forget about it. Don't mention it. It was nothing. No worries. Glad to help. How do you say you're welcome in English? Addressing someone formally in the United States, especially in writing, the most common titles that we use are Mrs., Miss, Mr., or Doctor. These are the most common, but others are used as well. Mrs. is used only for married women. This may seem old-fashioned, but it's still what's acceptable today. You should never assume that someone is a Mrs. unless you know for certain that they are married. If you don't know if they're married, call that person Miss, spelled M-S, or if you already know they are an unmarried woman, you can go ahead and call them Miss. This is where it gets strange to me. If a man is married or unmarried, we call him Mr. If a person has a doctorate or PhD, you should call them doctor. unless they ask you to call them something else. The same goes for medical doctors. A great English idiom that means something is very expensive is it breaks the bank. Now we're talking about literally a piggy bank that you would have to break open and take your money out to pay for something. So maybe that pair of shoes is going to break the bank. If something is expensive, it breaks the bank. If you have tried just about everything to solve a problem, you can use the phrase, I've tried every trick in the book. Let's say you have a baby that you cannot get to sleep. You've tried feeding it, changing the diaper, you've tried driving around in the car, whatever. You've tried every trick in the book. So this phrase just means that you've tried every single method, every trick in the book. Spelling is important between these two words. I'll show you why. It's, with no apostrophe, is a possessive pronoun. It shows that it owns something. It's, with an apostrophe, is a contraction or a shortened form for it is or it has. Here are some examples. It's weird that you like both rap music and country music. Country music has its good songs and bad songs. It's hard to believe that people don't like this song. I love that rap song. Do you know all of its lyrics? A phrase we use to help encourage people that are having a tough time in English is to say, stick in there. If you think that you can never be fluent in English and you don't think that you can study every day, you can stop waiting until the last minute to do things. We use this phrase in English, until the last minute, when you have procrastinated or slacked on what you needed to get done until right before you need to do it. Sometimes things change at the last minute or at the moment before they were supposed to go as planned. For example, maybe you had a plan to go on vacation, but your flight got canceled at the last minute. Or maybe you waited to book your ticket or purchase your ticket until the last minute and there were none left. Again, don't procrastinate and don't wait to do things until the last minute. Even though you might feel like coronavirus is not really a risk right now, don't let caution go out the window. The phrase I'm going to teach you today is out the window or go out the window. When an idea or principle goes out the window, it no longer exists. If you let caution go out the window, you are no longer being careful or taking measures to be safe. So don't let caution go out the window and wear your mask or when you're around others in public places. Here are 4 different meanings for the word jam in English. The easiest one is what we call fruit spread that we put on bread or toast. I personally love strawberry jam. The second way we use this word is when people or cars are crowded together, and if they're in a car, we call it a traffic jam. We say, I'm caught in a traffic jam. The third is a machine like a photocopier can have a jam where the machine cannot move and it is broken. And finally, when you have a problem in your life and it's quite awkward, you can say, well, I seem to be caught in a jam, or you're caught in an awkward situation. That's 4 ways to use the word jam. Can you think of any more examples? The phrasal verb put off has 2 different meanings, and let's practice them today. So you can either be put off by something, or you can be putting something off. So let me give you an example. I was going to hang out with my friend. I was really excited, but she had a bad attitude and I was put off by it. That means at first I was excited, her attitude changed that, I was put off, and then I wasn't very excited. Another way to use this phrase is if you're putting off studying, it means you're procrastinating. You're waiting until the last minute. So when you put something off, you don't do it when you're supposed to. And if you put off studying, you might not do well on your test. Let me know what you're put off by or what you're putting off. Can you whip me up some eggs and toast for breakfast? The verb I'm going to teach you today is whip up. We use this phrase when we talk about making food quickly to eat. When you are super hungry, you just need to whip up a quick snack so you don't get cranky or hangry. Let's whip up some chicken for dinner. I'm just gonna whip up a quick dessert, maybe cookies. What meal can you whip up when you are super hungry?